Welcome to The Awakened Heart, a podcast for healing women, a space for women to reclaim their voice, soften their armor, and rise from the chaos. Because survival is not your whole story, and healing is your return to yourself. I'm your host, Autumn Moran, therapist, coach, and companion on the path of coming home to yourself. Here we talk about the things that live under the surface: trauma, ADHD, burnout, grief, identity, and the quiet yet loud yearning for more. I don't know about you, but my yearning has always been somewhat loud. Each episode is an invitation to soften, to be seen, and to reconnect with the truth of who you are beneath the coping and the chaos. Because healing isn't a destination, it's a homecoming, and you don't have to do it alone. You're exactly where you need to be. So let's get into it. This is a bonus episode, an extra episode of the week, because let's just acknowledge that if you're in America, I'm not an expert on speaking on other areas' political climates, despite what I've seen on the news, what little I tried to watch. But it feels like we're in the midst of a dumpster fire. Yeah? Minimally speaking. This is my effort to help us make sense of adulting and trying to thrive in a society that honestly feels on fire and feels incredibly unsafe. When the world outside, the political system, the media, even your community, when it starts to feel like it's closing in on your humanity, your autonomy, your rights, it's adding a whole new layer of survival for us. And when you're neurodivergent, when your brain processes the world differently, more literally, more sensitively, more deeply, the shame, the injustice, the sensory and emotional chaos of it all, it doesn't just stress you out. It can feel like you're drowning in a reality that refuses to make space for who you truly are. Gosh, that's a lot, right? Let's talk about that. Not to fix it, because honestly, I don't have a solution. I wish I did. Oftentimes when I have beginning sessions with individuals, I let them know that, hey, I don't have a magic wand. I can't fix you. I can't just wave a wand and everything's better. But day by day, session by session, each time we meet, we can etch away at the walls, at the chaos. Try to make solutions, accommodations, and coping skills to do better and survive in what we have. So we're going to name it. I don't know if we can normalize it, but normalize the experience, help you realize you're not alone. That's my goal. And also to offer some tools to help you hold your ground while the storm rages on. Yeah. The truth, there is no guidebook for this. Sometimes I sit and think, where's the damn manual for this? What book can I read to help myself, to help others, to save the world, to make changes? Throw me a line if you have the guidebook. I'm not saying I'm all-knowing. I'm just saying I'm tapped out with resources. How do you keep going when the news is so awful? When your rights are up for debate? When the people in power are shaming your existence and calling it fucking policy? There's no guidebook for navigating a political climate that actively gaslights you, that says you're free but doesn't let you live free. And if you're neurodivergent, that gaslighting doesn't just hit, it sticks. Because our brains, whether wired for ADHD, autism, sensory processing, or all of the above, tend to process the world more literally. We feel things more intensely. We take people at their word. And when their actions don't match what they say, it's disorienting, it's confusing, it can make us doubt our own perception. And you might be wondering, am I the only one who feels like this? Am I the only one that sees the injustice? Am I the only one that wants to just make this all better? You're not. You're just in a world that unfortunately was never designed for your nervous system. But let's talk about that fire, that unshakable sense of justice that lives inside of so many of us. It's not a quirk. It's not a flaw. It's a feature. It's a part of your wiring. Many neurodivergent folks, especially women, carry this intense desire for fairness, for truth, for systems that actually work the way they say they do. So when laws are passed that take away rights, when people are punished for being queer, disabled, poor, or neurodivergent, when you're told you're overreacting just for reacting like a human being, it cuts deeper than anger. It becomes grief. It becomes rage. How many of us feel so full of grief, yet at the same time so full of rage? It becomes this unbearable weight, like you are personally responsible for making it right. Like we all need to put on our Superman costumes and go, right? And I want you to hear this. These feelings, all these feelings, are very, very valid. But the responsibility is not yours alone. So what do we do? How do we live? How do we breathe? And how do we heal in a world that feels like it's crumbling under our feet? Here are a few things I'd like to suggest. Maybe they'll help, maybe they won't, but hey, it's worth a try. Think of them of like life rafts, not prescriptions. First and foremost, justice fatigue is real. Just like decision fatigue, justice fatigue is real. You can care deeply and still rest, my dears. You can fight for what's right without being consumed by the fight. Start noticing your warning signs, your irritability, your shutdown, your hopelessness. That's your cue to step back and not push harder, but to rest. The fight's going to be there. You have time to rest. You have time to self-soothe. You have time to disconnect from that sensory input until you're able to regulate your nervous system and have the mental space to get back into it. Sensory safety comes next. Turn off the noise. That means the news. That means the scrolling. And even that means your inner monologue that says do more. Make your space quiet. Wrap yourself in something soft, fuzzy, cozy, a weighted blanket. Light a candle, an incense. Turn down the lights. Safety is not a luxury, my friends. It is a requirement. Creating safety in the midst of the storm is a requirement to make it through the storm. You've got to let go. You've got to turn off that input. Block, mute anyone, blood or not, friend or foe, corporation, whoever, influencer, whatever, best BFF in the group, whatever. I don't care who they are. If they are causing you stress and strain while you're trying to relax on scrolling, mute them. See how it feels without having that influence. Create a social media that is something fun, not something stressful. Next up, let rage and let grief move. Scream in your car, scream into a pillow, hide into the corner of your closet, grab the thickest pillow or blanket, and scream your heart out. Punch your mattress, grab a cushion off the sofa, the living room couch, I couldn't think of it, and punch it. If it's in your budget, go to a smash room. Write the angry letter and never send it. Open up your voice recorder and rant away and then delete it. No one knows the difference, but you got it out. You are allowed to feel this deeply. There is nothing wrong with your bigness. There is nothing wrong with being such a empathetic and loving human being is just hard to bear sometimes. So let it out. Let that fire out. Next up, channel literal thinking into clarity. The world may lie. People may and will contradict themselves. But your truth, it's clear. You see what's unjust. You know what doesn't add up. Use that clarity. Use it in your writing, your voice, your advocacy. But don't let the world convince you your truth doesn't matter, because it does. Don't gaslight yourself, and don't let the world gaslighting you into feeling like you're the wrong guy, you're the bad guy. Next up, choose one thing you can control. Maybe it's what you eat today. Maybe it's choosing to breathe deeply instead of scrolling. Maybe it's saying no when you've always said yes. Let that choice remind you you are still in power. Although the world outside of you may feel unsafe, you can self-soothe to create safety within yourself. Find glimmers of joy. And lastly, find people who get it. You don't need 1,000 people. You just need a few who understand your brain, your heart, your rage, your softness. Find them or create the space where they can find you. Meetup.com, the Meetup app. If it's not a group in your area, make a group. See if you have other people in your area that are like-minded, waiting for someone like you to create something. And then look for resources and support, right? Mental health therapy, psychologytoday.com. You can narrow it down to insurance, self-pay, sliding scale, what type of therapist, what their interests are. Like, find a therapist. If that's not in your budget, find a support group, virtually or in person. They're free of charge. Find community groups. Not that I'm pushing any major social media because, the climate now, but if you happen to still be on Facebook, just for the events alone, to see the local events, they have like coffee hours, Bible hours, if that's your thing, like spiritual hours, mental health connections, like people meet up. There are people that want to connect, that you can find like-minded people on a minimal or big budget. Use YouTube, somatic yoga, yin yoga, yoga for safety, yoga for healing, restorative yoga, guided meditations for peace, guided meditations for stress and anxiety. Use YouTube, free resources that you can self-care. And don't forget, the nap is sacred. The rage nap, revolutionary. Take a nap if you need to. If this world is heavy on your body, your brain, and your heart, you're not broken. You're awake. You are a human. And your sensitivity, your literalness, your fierce sense of justice, those are gifts in a world that desperately needs more truth. You don't have to carry the world, but you do deserve to live in it, freely, fully, and safely. Just a side note to just kind of give all of ourselves some kudos in a silly, I don't know if it's silly, but in my own way. I am of the belief that we choose our soul's path, and based on our lived experience, that's how our soul ascends or stays the same or descends, if you will, right? Depending on our choices. And I just think sometimes that, man, at one point, all of our souls that are living at this moment at the same time collectively said, I'm ready to ascend. That's going to be tough. That's going to be filled with lessons after lessons and healing generational traumas. And we all said yes to this. We are rebels, soul rebels, ready to change this world for the better, ready to be the light in the world that is so needed. Don't let this damper your shine. Be creative, find joy, find community. Right now, more than anything, we need community. Finding common ground when they want us divided. If this episode resonated, follow me on Empowering Wellness Hub on Instagram. Linktree will be in the notes for all the goodies, for a good Spotify playlist, so something good to listen to, and other resources. And if you're journaling today, here's your prompt. What part of me have I been shamed for that I now want to reclaim as sacred? What part of me have I been shamed for that I now want to reclaim as sacred? You're not alone, my friends, and you're never, never too much. You are exactly who you are meant to be, even now, especially now. I'm so glad you're here. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.